The glass hit the marble floor before anyone could blink. It exploded into bright pieces, 1,000 tiny stars skittering across the white tiles. A river of red wine spread like a wound, racing toward the feet of Olivia, the billionaire who owned the house, the companies, the headlines. And Mirabel, the poor maid who had just slapped her. The room froze. The chandelier hummed. The curtains barely moved in the soft air from the AC. A floor clock ticked once, twice. Sam, Olivia's husband, stood there with his hand open, empty, the broken stem still trembling between his fingers. His eyes were wide. His jaw hung low. He looked from the splash on the floor to Mirabel's raised palm as if the whole world had cracked. Mirabel's heart beat hard in her ears. She leaned in fast, her lips close to Olivia's ear. Her voice was a whisper, shaky but brave. "Madam, I am sorry for the slap," she said. "I had to make him drop the drink. He poisoned it. I recorded it. Please forgive me." Olivia did not move. Her face was calm, but her eyes were storm clouds. She did not look at the drink. She did not look at Mirabel. She looked at Sam. The floor clock ticked again. "Mirabel," Sam said, his voice deep and sharp, "how dare you?" He took one step forward. Olivia lifted her hand, simple and quiet. "Don't," she said. Sam stopped. He blinked. He tried to smile. "Olivia, she slapped you." "I said I'll handle it," Olivia replied, her tone steady. "Please give us a moment." Sam's eyes flashed, but he swallowed his anger. He picked up the largest piece of glass with a slow, careful motion, then straightened and forced a laugh that did not reach his eyes. "As you wish," he said. He looked at Mirabel, and the look said many things at once. "I see you. I will not forget. I will not forgive." Then he left the living room, his footsteps soft but heavy. The clock ticked again. Mirabel's fingers shook. "Madam, not here," Olivia said in a soft voice. "Bring the phone. We go to my study. Now." They stepped around the red stain and the glittering glass. The living room, with its plush cream sofas and gold-framed art, watched them go. Somewhere outside, a bird sang a small song that did not fit the moment at all. Hours earlier, the house had been bright and easy. Mirabel woke before the sun. She made tea for Mama Nene, the old cook, and swept the long hallway until the floor shone like water. She wore her simple black dress and white apron, the uniform that made her look like every other maid in the city, except she wasn't like everyone. She watched, she listened, she cared. 2 months ago, Olivia had taken a chance on her. Other houses had said, "No experience? No." Olivia said, "Everyone starts somewhere." From day one, Olivia treated Mirabel with respect. "Good morning." "Thank you, just please." Small words that felt big to a girl who had grown up with people stepping over her like a loose stone on a busy road. But Sam liked to test people. He smiled a lot. He talked loud. He wore expensive caftans and smooth shoes that clicked on the floor. He kissed Olivia's forehead for the cameras, then told Mirabel to move faster when the cameras were gone. He loved to give orders that sounded like gifts. "Bring my drink. Make it sweet. Don't be late." Mirabel noticed things. Little things other people missed. A tiny silver vial, like a pen without a cap, that appeared and disappeared in Sam's pocket. A phone call in the garden, away from the house, where Sam said in a low voice, "Tonight." A bottle of wine set aside from all the others. It had a black ribbon tied around the neck, as if it were special. Mirabel's stomach twisted when she saw the vial and the ribboned bottle in the same room. She could not explain why. She only knew that danger sometimes comes as a soft shadow first, not a storm. And that shadow was here. Just before dinner, while she set the table, shiny silverware, folded napkins like flowers, 2 crystal glasses, she paused at the doorway. Through a thin gap in the kitchen door, she saw Sam lean over the wine. His back blocked most of her view. His shoulder shifted. His hand moved. It took 2 seconds, maybe less. Mirabel did not breathe. When he stepped away, the ribboned bottle was open. The 2 glasses waited like twins. Her phone was in her apron pocket. Her hands were steady when she pressed record. She moved like a cat, quiet and small, until she had a view. Sam's hand, the silver vial, a drop that fell like a tear into one glass. The camera caught it. Her heart caught fire. She did not have time to think of the perfect plan. She only knew Olivia must not drink. Olivia walked in, radiant in a blue Ankara gown that made her look like a queen standing under the chandelier. She smiled at Sam. She sat. She reached. "I made a toast," Sam said, voice warm. Mirabel stepped out, fast as lightning. The slap came from fear and love at the same time. It was loud, it was wrong, it was right. Then the glass fell, and the wine bled across the floor. Now, in the quiet safety of the study, the air was different, softer, heavier. Olivia's study was her favorite room. A wall of books, a long desk, family photos, and a soft rug that swallowed footsteps. The scent of paper and clean wood filled the space. Olivia closed the door and turned the lock. "Show me," she said. Mirabel handed over the phone. Her throat felt dry. What if the video was blurry? What if the angle was wrong? What if Olivia did not believe her? Olivia stood by the desk lamp and pressed play. On the screen, the kitchen door frame appeared, the edge of the ribboned bottle, Sam's shoulder, a glint of silver, the slow tip of a vial. One clear drop falling into the wineglass like a grain of rain. And then another. Olivia's mouth opened a little. She did not make a sound. "Madam," Mirabel whispered, "I saw him hide that silver pen thing in his pocket before. I didn't know what it was. I'm sorry I slapped you. I didn't know how else to stop you." Olivia looked at the phone, then at Mirabel. Her eyes were wet, but her face was calm. "You were brave," she said quietly. "You did the hard thing." Mirabel shook her head. "I was scared." "Brave people are always scared," Olivia answered. "They move anyway." She pulled Mirabel into a hug. It was warm and strong. For a moment, Mirabel felt like she had a mother again. Like someone was saying, "You matter. You saved a life." A soft sound broke the moment. The study door handle turned. Mirabel jumped. Olivia stepped back and slid the phone into her pocket in one smooth motion. A polite knock followed, too sweet to be honest. "Olivia?" Sam's voice, gentle like velvet. "Are you okay? She hit you, let me check on you." Olivia's eyes met Mirabel's. There was a new look there now, sharp and sure, a plan starting to form. "I'm fine," Olivia called steady. "Give me 5 minutes." A pause. The handle pressed again, firmer this time, as if testing the lock. Then footsteps moved away. Not far, just enough to listen. Olivia lowered her voice. "We will not panic," she said. "We will be careful. We will be smart." Mirabel nodded. Her legs felt weak, her hands tingled. "What should we do?" Olivia walked to her desk, opened a drawer and took out a small black notebook and a pen. She wrote 3 short lines, tore the page and folded it. She gave it to Mirabel. "Go to Mama Nene in the kitchen," Olivia said. "Pretend I sent you for ginger tea and ice. Give her this note, not out loud. Then come back, slowly. If Sam stops you, say you are cleaning the glass." Mirabel tucked the folded note into her apron. "Yes, madam." "And Mirabel?" She turned. "Thank you," Olivia said, "for my life." Mirabel's eyes stung. "You believed me." "I believe what I see," Olivia answered, tapping her pocket where the phone rested. "And I saw enough." Mirabel slipped to the door and listened. Quiet. She unlocked it, opened it a little, and stepped into the hallway. The shadows along the wall felt longer than before. She walked, not too fast, not too slow. Halfway to the kitchen, a figure slid out of the corner. "Sam." He smiled, but his eyes did not. "Where are you off to?" "Mirabel?" he asked softly. "Running errands after assaulting my wife?" Mirabel's mouth went dry. "Madam asked for ginger tea and ice," she said, keeping her voice small. Of course she did. Sam took one step closer, then another. He lowered his voice. "You and I should talk." Mirabel nodded, but did not stop walking. Her heart pounded. The folded note felt like a hot coal against her skin. Sam leaned in, his breath cool. "I don't like lies," he whispered, "and I don't like trouble." Mirabel looked up at him, steady for the first time. "Me too," she said quietly. "I don't like trouble." He studied her face, searching for fear. He found it, But he also found something else, a small, bright courage that would not go out. "Be careful," he said at last. Mirabel passed him and reached the kitchen doorway. Inside, Mama Nene stirred a pot, humming a church song. Mirabel slipped the note into the old woman's hand. Mama Nene read it fast, and her eyes grew wide. She looked up, and her humming stopped. In the hallway, a phone buzzed. Once, twice, then Olivia's voice rang from the study, clear and strong. "Sam, please come here." Mirabel froze. Mama Nene gripped Mirabel's wrist hard. "Child," she whispered, "stay put." Mirabel stared down the hall toward the study. The door was open now. The soft lamplight glowed like a stage light, and on that stage, something was about to happen. The air in the mansion felt heavier than usual. Even the walls seemed to listen. Sam stood at the entrance of Olivia's study, his tall frame blocking the doorway. The gentle glow of the chandelier reflected off his wristwatch as he smiled. That same practiced, harmless smile he used whenever he wanted to hide something. Olivia sat behind her desk, calm, almost too calm. The video was still on her phone, now locked and tucked in the top drawer beside her penholder. "Come in, Sam," she said softly. He stepped forward, his eyes scanning her face. "You said you wanted to talk." "Yes," Olivia replied, gesturing to the chair opposite her. "Please sit." Sam sat, crossing one leg over the other, like a man confident of his power. "I've been thinking," he began smoothly. "That maid, Mirabel, she's a problem. I think she needs to go." Olivia tilted her head. "Go?" "Yes. She's reckless. You saw what she did. Imagine if someone else had witnessed that. It could ruin your reputation." Olivia leaned forward slightly. "You're right. Reputation is important." Sam smiled, thinking he was winning. "Exactly. Let me handle it. I'll give her some money. Tell her to leave quietly. By tomorrow morning, she'll be gone." Olivia paused. "Before we do that, Sam," she said softly, "tell me, why did you pick that wine for tonight?" Sam blinked. "What do you mean?" "That wine bottle," she said, "the one with the black ribbon. I don't remember buying it." He chuckled nervously. "Oh, that. A client gave it to me last week. Thought we could enjoy it together." Olivia smiled faintly, but her eyes were sharp. "You know what's strange?" she said. "You never mentioned that before dinner, not even once." Sam's expression stiffened. "Does it matter?" "Oh, it matters," Olivia replied, her tone steady, "because I'm starting to think you planned something tonight." Sam's voice dropped. "Planned something? Olivia, what are you implying?" She stood slowly, her hands resting on the desk. "I'm implying," she said carefully, "that you were about to kill me." The words hit the air like thunder. For a second, the whole world seemed to stop breathing. Sam's face drained of color. Then he laughed, forced and shaky. "Kill you? Olivia, are you serious? That's absurd." "Is it?" Olivia asked, walking toward him. "You've been restless for months. You think I don't see it? The secret calls, the late-night messages, the way you've been moving money from my accounts into yours." His voice rose. "You're paranoid." "No," she said, "I'm careful." She turned and opened the drawer. Her phone was in her hand again, screen glowing. "Olivia, what are you doing?" Sam asked, his tone now nervous. "Showing you something," she said quietly. She pressed play. The video began to play, the faint sound of the kitchen fan, the clear image of Sam pouring the poison into her wine. His own voice was heard faintly in the background, humming a tune. Sam shot up from the chair as if it burned him. You filmed me?" "No," Olivia said. "Mirabel did." He froze. For the first time, his mask cracked. His voice trembled. "That girl. She was spying on me." "She saved my life," Olivia replied. Sam's breathing quickened. "Olivia, listen. Enough," she snapped. Her voice filled the room like a whip. "You wanted my money, didn't you? You thought if I died, everything would come to you. But you made one mistake. Mirabel was watching." Sam took a step forward, his face darkening. "You don't understand. I did it for us." "For us?" Olivia's voice was low but sharp. "You mean for yourself. You wanted control. You wanted to own everything I worked for before you even met me." He looked at her for a long time, then smiled sadly. "You think you're smart, Olivia. But you forgot something." "What?" His voice lowered. There's no proof the liquid was poison. You have no lab test. That video means nothing without evidence. Olivia didn't blink. Who said I don't have evidence? Sam's smile vanished. I sent a sample of the wine to the lab already, she said calmly. The police will get the report in the morning. Sam's breathing grew faster. He turned toward the door, but there stood Mirabel, her small figure blocking his way. Move, Sam growled. Mirabel didn't move. You almost killed her, she said, voice shaking but firm. You don't deserve to walk out like a free man. He laughed bitterly. You're just a maid. You don't tell me what I deserve. From behind, Olivia's voice came, steady and commanding. She's not just a maid. She's the reason I'm still alive. Sam turned slowly, eyes burning. You'll regret this. Maybe, Olivia said softly. But at least I'll still be breathing to regret it. Then the siren wailed outside, low at first, then growing louder. Sam's face twisted. You called the police? Olivia walked past him toward the door. I didn't have to, she said. Mama Nene did. At that moment, 2 uniformed officers stepped into the living room, led by a tall inspector. Mr. Sam Adewale, the officer announced, you are under arrest for attempted murder. Sam laughed, a broken, hopeless laugh. You can't prove it, he shouted. You can't. The inspector lifted the phone from Olivia's hand. We'll see about that. The officers handcuffed Sam. His protests echoed down the hall as they dragged him out. Olivia stood still for a moment, breathing slowly, her hand trembling. Then she turned to Mirabel. The girl's eyes were full of tears. I'm sorry for the slap, madam, she whispered. Olivia reached out and pulled her into a hug. Don't ever apologize for saving my life, she said softly. The camera light from a phone flashed once more as the police sealed the bottle in an evidence bag. Outside, the siren faded into the night. Inside, Olivia and Mirabel stood in the golden light of the chandelier, silent but connected. By fear, by gratitude, and by the truth that one brave act had changed everything. But unknown to them, as Sam sat in the back of the police car, his lips moved around a quiet whisper. This isn't over. Morning light spilled into the mansion like forgiveness, but it couldn't wash away the memory of the night before. The police had come and gone. The red stain of spilled wine was still faintly visible on the marble floor, a ghost of the moment everything changed. Olivia hadn't slept. She sat by the window in her silk robe, watching the slow movement of Lagos traffic beyond her tall iron gate. Her hands trembled as she held her cup of tea. Downstairs, Mirabel quietly swept the corridor, her movements soft and thoughtful. She didn't hum like she usually did. She didn't smile. Every sweep of her broom carried the weight of what she had seen or undone. The house, once full of laughter and luxury, now felt like a courtroom. Every corner carried whispers, every sound felt loud, every second stretched. Then came the knock on the front door. It was Inspector Felix, tall and serious, with a calm face that hid years of experience. Good morning, Mrs. Adewale, he said respectfully. We've confirmed everything. The lab results came in overnight. Olivia stood, heart thumping. And? He handed her a folder. The liquid inside that vial was cyanide. She gasped softly, one hand covering her mouth. So it's true. He truly wanted to kill me. Yes, ma'am, the inspector replied. We've charged him with attempted murder and conspiracy. The court hearing is set for next week. We'll need you and Miss Mirabel to testify. Olivia nodded, her eyes misty. We'll be there. Mirabel stood quietly at the bottom of the stairs, holding her broom. She looked small, like a child standing in a giant's house, but inside her, courage had taken root. A week later, at the courthouse. The courtroom was cold. Rows of people filled the benches, reporters, curious onlookers, and employees from Olivia's company, whispering about the scandal that had shaken Lagos's business world. Mirabel sat beside Olivia, both dressed modestly in black and white. Olivia's face was calm, but her eyes were heavy with emotion. She looked at the man in handcuffs, Sam, her husband, sitting on the defendant's bench. He looked smaller now. His once proud face was pale. His fine clothes had been replaced with a dull orange prison jumpsuit. When the judge entered, everyone rose. The sound of his gavel echoed. Court is now in session. Sam's lawyer spoke first. My client is a respected man. He's been wrongfully accused by his wife and a maid who barely understands what she saw. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Then the prosecutor rose, a young woman in a navy suit with a voice as sharp as her stare. Respected or not, no one is above the law. We have clear evidence of intent and attempt. And we have a video. The judge nodded. Proceed with your first witness, Mirabelle Okafor. Mirabelle's heart pounded as she stood. The courtroom lights felt too bright. Her hands trembled as she stepped to the witness box. The prosecutor smiled gently. Miss Mirabelle, please tell the court what happened that night. Mirabelle swallowed hard. I saw him pour something into Madame Olivia's wine glass. I didn't know what it was at first, but I knew it wasn't normal. I recorded it. When Madame was about to drink it, I panicked, and I slapped her so the glass would fall. Soft gasps filled the courtroom. The prosecutor nodded. What happened after that? She took me to her study, Mirabelle said. I showed her the video, then she called the police. Do you still have the video? Yes, ma'am. The prosecutor turned to the judge. Your Honor, with permission, we would like to play the recording. The lights dimmed slightly as a screen came on. The video played, clear as day. Sam's hand, the silver vial, the drop falling into the glass. The courtroom fell silent. The truth was louder than words. Sam's lawyer stood up, his voice desperate. Your Honor, this could be fabricated. The judge frowned. The lab results confirm the presence of cyanide. The evidence aligns. Sit down, counsel. The lawyer sank into his chair. Then the prosecutor called her next witness, Mrs. Olivia Adewale. Olivia walked to the stand with grace and pain. Her voice was calm, but it trembled at the edges. I trusted my husband with everything. My home, my company, my heart. But the man I thought would protect me wanted me gone. Her eyes met Sam's. His face was wet with tears now. I built everything we had, she continued. He thought my success was his weakness. But thanks to a poor maid who had nothing, I am alive. Sam lowered his head, shaking it slowly. Olivia, please, I made a mistake. I was desperate. I thought you'd leave me. Tears rolled down Olivia's cheeks. You already did, Sam, the day you chose greed over love. The judge leaned forward. I've heard enough. He slammed the gavel once. Sam Adewale, you are hereby sentenced to 25 years in prison for attempted murder and conspiracy. The courtroom erupted in noise, whispers, gasps, flashes from cameras. Sam's shoulders collapsed as officers pulled him up. Olivia, he cried out, please forgive me. Olivia, please. But Olivia only turned away, her tears falling silently. The mansion was quiet again. The golden light from the chandeliers filled the room, but this time it felt warmer, softer, safe. Olivia sat beside Mirabelle on the couch. They didn't speak for a long time. Finally, Olivia took her hand. You changed my life, she said, and I will change yours. Mirabelle looked up, confused. Madam? I want you to go back to school, Olivia said, smiling faintly through her tears. You're smart, Mirabelle. You deserve a future. You'll never be just a maid again. Mirabelle's lips trembled. Madam, I don't have anyone to help me. You do now, Olivia whispered. You have me. Then, for the first time since that night, Mirabelle smiled, a true glowing smile that carried hope. Outside, the moonlight rested gently on the marble floor, right where the wine had once spilled. But upstairs, Olivia stood by her window, looking at the city lights below. She should have felt peace, but somewhere deep down, a strange thought wouldn't leave her mind. What if Sam wasn't acting alone? She turned slowly toward the shadowed corner of her room. Her phone buzzed once on the desk. Unknown number. The message read, he might be gone. But it's not over. Olivia's heart skipped. She stared out into the dark night, her reflection trembling in the glass. Something, or someone, was still watching. Rain fell softly that night. It drummed against the mansion's tall windows and slid down the glass in silver streaks. The sound filled every corner of Olivia's bedroom, yet it couldn't drown the fear whispering in her heart. She held her phone tightly. The message still glowed on the screen. He might be gone, but it's not over. Olivia read it again and again, her hands trembling. The number wasn't saved, no name, no clue, but the timing was too deliberate. She turned off the phone and stared out the window. The world outside looked blurred by rain, the garden lights shimmering like ghosts. Somewhere in the shadows of her own home, she felt eyes watching. The next morning the storm had passed, but the silence it left behind was heavier than thunder. Mirabel was polishing the marble floors when she noticed Olivia standing by the staircase, her face pale and thoughtful. "Good morning, madam," Mirabel greeted softly. Olivia smiled faintly, though her eyes didn't match the smile. "Good morning, dear. Did you sleep well?" "Yes, ma'am," Mirabel said, then paused. "You didn't, did you?" Olivia sighed. "Not much." She walked closer. "Mirabel, there's something I didn't tell you." Mirabel stopped polishing and looked up. "What is it?" Olivia lowered her voice. "I received a message last night. From an unknown number. It said the danger isn't over." Mirabel's eyes widened. "What?" "But Sam is in prison." "I know," Olivia said. "That's what scares me." She took a deep breath. "I called Inspector Felix early this morning. He's coming over." Later that day, by afternoon, the inspector's black SUV pulled into the driveway. He stepped out, wearing his usual calm expression. "Good afternoon, Mrs. Adderwale. Miss Mirabel." They led him to the living room. Olivia handed him the phone. "I received this message last night." Felix read it slowly, his eyes narrowing. "This number doesn't match any registered contact from the case, but we'll trace it." "Do you think it's from Sam?" Olivia asked. "Possible," Felix replied, "but unlikely. He's been in solitary since the sentencing." Mirabel frowned. "Then who?" Felix glanced at her. "That's what I intend to find out." He stood up and walked toward the study, the same room where it all began. He scanned the corners carefully. "You've kept this place clean, but sometimes danger hides in plain sight." He touched the bookshelf, then the curtain rods, then stopped near the flower vase by the window. "When was this vase bought?" "Last month," Olivia said. "Sam ordered it." Felix bent down and tapped the base. Something rattled inside. He exchanged a quick glance with Mirabel, then he lifted it, turned it upside down, and shook it gently. A small black device dropped to the floor. Mirabel gasped. "What's that?" "A listening bug," Felix said, his voice grim. "Someone's been recording you." Olivia's hand flew to her mouth. "You mean someone has been listening since before the trial, maybe longer?" He picked it up carefully. "I'll have my team run a trace. Whoever installed this has been monitoring you, waiting for a moment to strike." Mirabel shivered. "Could it be one of Sam's friends?" Felix nodded slowly. "Sam didn't move alone. Men like him never do." Later that night, Olivia sat in her study again, unable to focus. The rain had stopped, but her thoughts poured endlessly. The video that once saved her life now felt like a curse. It had exposed Sam, yes, but maybe it had also awakened enemies she didn't know she had. The door creaked softly. "Madam." Mirabel stepped in, holding a cup of warm tea. "You haven't eaten since morning." Olivia smiled weakly. "Thank you, dear." Mirabel placed the tray down and hesitated. "Madam, can I ask something?" "Of course." "Do you still love him, Mr. Sam?" Olivia looked away. The question hung in the air like perfume, sweet and painful. "Love doesn't vanish overnight, Mirabel," she said quietly. "It fades slowly like the echo of a song. But sometimes, what you loved becomes the very thing that breaks you." Mirabel nodded, understanding more than she could say. The clock struck 9. Olivia sipped her tea, grateful for the warmth. But then she paused. Something tasted strange, bitter. Her hand froze halfway. "Mirabel," she said softly, "did you make this tea?" Mirabel frowned. "No, madam. Mama Nene did." Olivia's heart skipped. "Where's Mama Nene?" "In the kitchen." Before she could finish, a scream echoed from downstairs. Both women ran to the kitchen. Pots were scattered. The door was open. The night breeze rushed in, cold and sharp. "Mama Nene," Mirabel called out. The old woman was nowhere to be seen. but on the floor near the back door lay a crumpled piece of paper. Olivia picked it up, her fingers trembling. It read, "You were warned. This house isn't safe." Minutes later, chaos unfolds. Inspector Felix arrived again, summoned by Olivia's frantic call. His team searched the grounds, flashlights cutting through the dark. They found Mama Nene lying unconscious near the fence, her head bleeding lightly. She was alive, but barely. Felix turned to Olivia, his voice urgent. This wasn't random. Someone broke in through the back. They knew exactly where the kitchen door was. Olivia's chest tightened. They're after me. Felix nodded grimly. Yes, and they won't stop until they finish what Sam started. He looked at Mirabel. You need to pack some things. Both of you are leaving this house tonight. I'll have a patrol escort you to a safe location. But where? Mirabel asked, trembling. A safe house under our protection, Felix said, until we catch whoever's behind this. Olivia took one last look around her grand home, the chandeliers, the paintings, the marble floors, all things she once thought represented safety. But now they felt like traps. She turned to Mirabel. Go get my documents and your things. We're leaving now. Mirabel nodded and ran upstairs. Olivia followed slowly, her steps heavy. As she reached the top of the stairs, her phone buzzed again. Another message. You can run, Olivia, but you can't hide forever. She stared at it, her blood running cold. Downstairs, Felix shouted, Mom, hurry! But Olivia's eyes stayed fixed on the message. Her reflection stared back from the phone screen. Afraid, fragile but fierce. Someone wanted her dead. And this time, they were closer than ever. The car sped through the quiet Lagos night, rain misting across the windshield. Inside, Olivia sat in the back seat, her fingers trembling as she clutched her purse. Mirabel sat beside her, eyes wide, holding a small suitcase against her chest. Ahead, Inspector Felix's driver kept the siren lights off to stay unnoticed. The world outside was dark, too dark. They weren't just running from danger, they were running from something that refused to die. By 10:45 p.m., they arrived at a quiet compound outside Lekki, a modest bungalow surrounded by tall trees and high walls. Felix stepped out first, checking the surroundings before signaling them to follow. You'll be safe here, he said. No one knows this location except my team. Olivia exhaled, exhausted. Thank you, Inspector. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't come. Felix nodded. We'll post 2 officers outside until morning. I'll return after interrogating Sam again. Maybe he knows who's behind this. Mirabel's voice was barely a whisper. Be careful, sir. Felix gave a small nod and walked back to his car. Moments later, the taillights vanished into the night. Inside the safe house, everything was quiet. Too quiet. There were 2 small rooms, a simple living space, and a single bulb that flickered slightly. The air smelled faintly of old wood and disinfectant. Mirabel unpacked some clothes while Olivia sat on the edge of the bed, her head in her hands. Madam, Mirabel said softly, we'll get through this. Olivia smiled faintly. You've been saying that since the day you slapped me. They both laughed, softly, tiredly. But it was the kind of laughter that came from people who had seen too much. Then the light flickered again. Mirabel frowned. Did you see that? Olivia looked up. Yes. Maybe it's the wiring. But then they both heard it. A soft creak, like footsteps just outside the window. Mirabel froze. Madam. Olivia pressed a finger to her lips. Stay quiet. The footsteps stopped. Then slowly the sound of a door hinge groaned open. Olivia grabbed the lamp from the bedside table and switched it off. The room went dim. The 2 women held their breath. From the living room, a shadow moved, slowly, deliberately. Someone was inside. Olivia whispered, Mirabel, go hide in the other room, lock the door. But madam, do it. Mirabel hesitated, then ran silently across the small hallway, locking herself in. Olivia crouched behind the couch, her heart pounding so loud she was sure the intruder could hear it. The door creaked again. A figure stepped into view. It was a man, tall, dressed in black, his face hidden under a cap. He moved like someone who knew the layout of the house already. He reached into his jacket and pulled out something metallic. A knife. Olivia's breath caught in her throat. She reached into her purse and dialed Felix's number, her thumb shaking. The call connected silently. "Inspector Felix," she whispered, barely audible. "Someone's here." But before she could say more, the man's head snapped toward her direction. He had heard her whisper. He moved fast. Olivia stumbled back, knocking over the lamp. The bulb shattered, sparks flying. The house plunged into near darkness. She reached for the kitchen door, trying to run, but the man grabbed her wrist. The knife gleamed under the faint light. "Let go of me," Olivia screamed. Then suddenly, a loud crash. The door from the second room flew open, and Mirabel burst out, holding a thick wooden stool. With a cry of courage, she swung it hard. The stool struck the intruder's back. He groaned, dropping the knife. "Madam, run!" Mirabel shouted. Olivia didn't run. She grabbed the fallen knife and pointed it at him, her hands shaking. "Who sent you?" The man groaned on the floor, blood trickling from his forehead. "You should have died quietly," he muttered. Mirabel's eyes widened. "Who are you talking about?" The man tried to stand, but police sirens suddenly blared outside. A second later, the front door burst open. Inspector Felix and 2 officers stormed in with guns drawn. "Drop the weapon!" The intruder froze. Felix stepped forward, his voice commanding, "Hands up!" The man obeyed slowly, raising his hands as one officer cuffed him. Felix's flashlight caught the man's face. Olivia gasped. Mirabel's jaw dropped. It was Jonas, Sam's personal driver. The unraveling truth. An hour later, the safe house was swarming with police. Jonas sat cuffed to a chair, his face bruised but defiant. Felix crossed his arms. "Start talking." Jonas smirked. "You think this ends with me? You think Sam was working alone?" "Explain," Felix said firmly. Jonas looked at Olivia. "Madam, your husband had partners, people who wanted your company. He wasn't smart enough to plan everything himself. I was paid to finish the job if he failed." Olivia's face went pale. "Paid by who?" Jonas hesitated, then whispered, "By the board, someone inside your company." Silence filled the room. Felix exchanged a look with his assistant. "Which board member?" Jonas shrugged. "I don't know. I was only told to make it look like a robbery. They said they'd transfer the balance after—" He smiled wickedly. "After you were gone." Felix slammed his hand on the table. "Who contacted you? Name." Jonas chuckled weakly. "Check Sam's second phone. It's all there." Olivia stepped forward, her voice trembling. "Jonas, why? I treated you like family." He looked at her, almost regretful. "Sometimes, madam, money makes family disappear." Felix turned to his team. "Search Sam's belongings immediately. We'll find that phone." As the officers led Jonas away, Olivia sat down, shaking. Mirabel knelt beside her, holding her hand. "It's over now." "Madam." Olivia's eyes filled with tears. "No, my dear, it's only beginning. Someone inside my own company wanted me dead." The investigation that followed was long and public. Sam's hidden phone revealed a chain of messages between him and Mr. Desmond, one of Olivia's trusted board members. Desmond was arrested, tried, and sentenced for conspiracy to commit murder. The case made headlines across Nigeria. "Billionaire betrayed by husband and board," the news called it. But amidst the chaos, something beautiful bloomed. Mirabel, who once scrubbed Olivia's floors, now walked the university grounds in a white coat, studying medicine on full scholarship. She called Olivia every evening after class, and Olivia, lonely, wiser but alive, smiled every time she heard her voice. "My brave girl," she'd say. "You're the daughter I never had." 5 years later, the church bells rang gently that morning. The hall was filled with white flowers and joyful faces. Mirabel stood at the altar, radiant in her wedding gown. Beside her stood Jacob, the young pharmacist who had fallen in love with her kind heart and humble spirit. When Olivia walked her down the aisle, tears filled every eye in the room. As the choir sang softly, Olivia whispered, "Do you remember the day you slapped me?" Mirabel laughed through her tears. "Yes, madam. I still can't believe I did that." Olivia smiled, eyes glistening. "That slap saved my life and gave me a daughter." When the priest said, "You may kiss the bride," the crowd clapped. Olivia wiped her tears, proud and thankful. Later that evening at the reception, as laughter filled the air, Olivia stepped outside for a moment of quiet. The sunset painted the sky gold. Her phone buzzed. It was a message, from a familiar number. Her breath caught as she read it. "Thank you for forgiving me." It was signed, Sam. Olivia's eyes filled again. She looked up at the glowing sky. "I forgave you long ago," she whispered, "but I'll never forget." Behind her, Mirabelle's laughter echoed, full of life, full of hope. For the first time in years, Olivia smiled without fear. Her past had been poisoned, yes, but her future was healing. If you like this story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.